Hello my lovelies, it is me, Chelsea Rose, also known as Lucid Rose. If you've forgotten who I am, which is entirely possible, seeing that my videos have been quite few and far between, let me remind you, I am a silly little woman who likes to paint and drink tea. And my most recent exploits I would like to discuss with you. There's a really big art show in Portland that me and the Portland street art community plus the fine art community got together and put on, and I have some footage that I want to show you, but it was wonderful and it was epic. There was breakdance battles, live music, I did some live body painting, and there was over 400 pieces of art on display. And what I think is most interesting about the Portland art community, especially the street art community, is its capacity to open its heart and accept the fine art category into their midst. And you know, I don't know how other people do it, but I remember in LA there was definitely a dichotomy growing up between, you know, art and street art, and you know, and even within the street art community there was a lot of division, writers versus you know, character art, street artists, and you know, spray paint artists versus slap, tag, or sticker. So it's just really awesome to see that in the Portland community everybody can kind of mix and pretty much get along really well. And what is awesome-er vocabulary is what happens when everybody comes together. They create like just this, you know, these amazing collaborations. And that's what this recent art show was, and I was so stoked to be a part of it. I got a chance to show my big painting off, which I don't think you guys have even seen finished. I've been working, or I was working on a 4-foot by 4-foot acrylic painting on a birchwood panel. And I'm excited with the direction that I, you know, happened to go, and this was a great opportunity to kind of get it out of my little art cave, my little hermit art cave, because why not? So I got to show that off. I got a really great, I was blessed with a prominent space in the show, and it was well lit, and I heard that there was a lot of good things said about it, which was wonderful. I also painted 3 other pieces specifically for the show. Now, I did a 11 by 14 canvas with acrylic, and I did it inspired by a spray paint mural I did at the Portland Underground Recording Studio with a bunch of amazing local Portland street artists that I greatly admire, and that I fangirled over a little bit as I painted next to them, because that's just like a surreal moment in and of itself. Yes, so I did this mural with spray paint on the side of this building, and it was based off of my lucid roses, my sentient rose women, goddess, alien, fairy, mutant, third eye, whatever they are. But essentially they're roses with eyeballs in the center or a full face. So I did this mural, and then months later for this show I was like, well, how do I bridge my urban art, street art with my fine art in a way that I can have a recognizability at this art show? What I decided to do is repaint the piece that I did on the wall on canvas, and you know, with some changes and some additions, and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I was really mostly very much interested in, as well as putting in some depth, some range in the depth of field. So you'll see I have the roses in the foreground, and then I have the midground is a kind of grassy knoll with a Victorian, dreamy Victorian house off to the side, and then beyond that are giant looming silhouetted evergreen forest, and then like a sunset, super gold. And then I called it a golden afternoon, which is kind of like a reference to Alice in Wonderland and the song in the Disney version that the flowers sing. You know, all in a golden afternoon, a golden afternoon. Anyway, nobody needs to see that. Sorry about that. I should probably cut that out. But anyway, so yes, I was very excited. I finished it on time. I was very happy with the outcome, and I got to show it. And so, again, it got put in a really, really decent spot, and it was actually right next to my big 4-foot by 4-foot panel. And my two smaller pieces, I've had these square canvases for probably years, just kind of in a pile next to my easel. And you know, I was actually running low on canvas, which is strange because I usually have this pile, but my reserves were low, so I ended up painting on these small canvases. And God, what size were they? They were like, I don't know, like this like in square. And so one of them was based off of this pen and ink illustration that I did for a Drawloween prompt last year or the year before, I'm not sure, but it's a werewolf woman calmly drinking tea with a moon that is sentient and kind of smiling down. So they're kind of sharing in this moment. So I kind of based it off of that, but instead of doing a werewolf, I did a just kind of regular kind of woman enjoying a cup of tea in the moonlight. And then the other piece, what was the other piece? Oh, the other piece was kind of an ode to one of the main elements of my big 4-foot by 4-foot panel, which is, you know, these giant moon goddesses with faces with crystals poking out of their head. So yeah, those are the paintings that I showed, and I didn't sell anything at the opening as far as paintings go. I almost sold out of my merchandise. I had quite a few full color reproduction prints of some of my art, and I also had a bunch of pen and ink prints that I then tea stained, so they were hand embellished. So all of those sold. So that was cool, and I got to see a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a while. I got to meet some amazing people at the art show. But yes, you know, they had asked the organizers, you know, when I was at these monthly or these weekly organizer meetings for this show that we were having. You know, I mean, it takes a lot. It takes a village to put something big like this on, and we were meeting regularly. They ended up asking me to do some live body painting, which I have done at previous events that we've all kind of organized together. So, so I did that, and I did that at the show. I had two amazing models that agreed to let me body paint them. Since I was doing two, I didn't do full body painting. I ended up just doing from like mid-torso to head, and the concept for them was kind of black and white, yin and yang, and so one of the body painting models, because of her skin tone being dark, I used white to pop off and create some contrast. So I used white paint on her to do my spiraling woad body paint, and then I dressed her in a big white hoop skirt. So there was some sort of cohesiveness in that, and then I carried that through with my other model, whom I painted in black paint to pop off her lighter skin tone, and I had a big piece of black fabric that we fashioned around her waist to kind of create like a bustle, sarong. So yeah, so it was black and white, yin and yang, and it was super cool. I had a lot of fun painting them. It was, you know, it's a little crazy painting live. I have a lot of people, you know, come up and ask me while I'm doing it or before or after, like, are you nervous? Is this weird? How do you do this? And, you know, a lot of them are also artists who, I mean, the thing is, you know, making art can actually be a very solitary practice. So to go out and actively create in a crowd is weird. And my response is generally like, it is surreal. It is surreal to paint live. I've painted live at a bunch of different events. I've painted live on stage. I've painted people in the middle of the forest with a, you know, audience of chipmunks, and it's, you know, no matter who or what is watching, it is surreal, because like I said, usually for me and for most artists, making art is a solitary practice. But that being said, I mean, you know, as soon as I start with the first stroke, I kind of begin everything else kind of blurs a bit, and I kind of get this tunnel vision, and there's like a connection, especially when you're painting somebody, with them, and you kind of, because there's this contact, you kind of become one and the same, at least for me. I don't know if they're aware of this. I mean, I actually highly doubt it, but you know, at that point, I mean, I've had some models kind of dance to music, and I just match their rhythm to paint. It just kind of happens, and chaos can ebb and flow around us, and as long as we're safe and protected, I really don't pay anything any mind, and I just kind of lose myself in that moment, and it's really actually a lovely break for me, to be honest, because again, being a solitary practitioner, being an art hermit, you know, I don't interact with lots of people all the time, you know, so I am awkward and silly and weird, and so when I'm at a giant art show, it's actually really nice to have something to do, something to focus on, and it is kind of in a way an escape, because I don't have to, you know, be social in the, you know, the norms of sociality. I don't know if that's a word. So I actually really prefer it. Like, just give me a job to do and I'll do it. I'm just beaming, honestly, with what our community put together. And the art show was called BRIDGESPDX Art Show. Oh my goodness. And if you're interested in seeing sorts of interesting things in regards to that other people documented, you can go onto Instagram and check the hashtag BRIDGESPDX or BRIDGESPDX Art Show. Those are the two hashtags that have quite a lot of interesting content for you to peruse. It took me a week to recover, essentially, and I delved right away into a drawing challenge called April Fae. April as in the month, and Fae as in the folk, as in the little ones, as in the good people, the wee folk. Fae as in fairy, but April, F-A-E. It's been intense so far. Essentially, it's very similar to Drawloween, where there's a prompt every day of the month. But, you know, they've collaborated on what the prompts are, and they're all fairy related. But if you're interested in following along with me and want to check out the prompts for April Fae, check out the hashtag April Fae on Instagram. And if you're tempted to draw along, go for it. You don't have to do every prompt, and you don't have to do it as a drawing either. You could write, you could sing, you could dance, whatever, just something inspired by the prompt, and posting it each day or when you can under the hashtag April Fae. So that's what I'm up to, and it's kind of nice because it's a break from the production of, you know, oh, there's a show, I gotta do the show, I gotta finish these paintings. This is more of just this is kind of fun and relaxing, and it's also a challenge because it's good to draw every day. When I draw consistently every day, I can see a measurable change in my abilities, and I think any person who is an artist or enjoys drawing should really strive to push themselves to draw every day. So anyway, I highly recommend it. Check it out. Hashtag April Fae is the challenge I'm working on, and I will, once I'm finished with it, I will definitely post a kind of a sketchbook tour of my drawings for April Fae. And I know how much you guys love my sketchbook tours, so you know, you've waited this long for this video, and here I am just kind of rambling at you incessantly. So I think you deserve a sketchbook tour, and that's coming up shortly. So yes, if you are interested in collecting any of my art, go to chelsearosearts.com. That is my official website. You can go to the shop link, hit that, go to my Etsy shop and peruse and purchase. You could also, at chelsearosearts.com, hit the contact button if you're interested in commissioning me for a custom piece, or if you've seen something that I don't have listed in Etsy and you're curious about collecting it. Just drop me a line. Don't worry, I won't bite. And beyond that, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I really appreciate your support. Much love. Bye.